Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the You Like That podcast for another week in lockdown. But will this be the last solo episode? I think it might be for the main show and for the extra show. Again, you're joined with me. My name is Adam, and I am one half of the You Like That podcast, the only half of the You Like That podcast main show thus far. But that's all going to change after this episode. Jack has moved into my house with me and Brooke. He is now part of our life, even more so. So, what does that mean? That means, well, he's a household resident now. It means we don't have to stay away from each other. It means we can get back to being on the couch together. And does that put a fucking smile on my face? Boy, fucking does it. It has been, a month or so without doing anything together. Jack's been pumping his extra episodes. I've been trying to get through the solo main shows with a lot of help from Brooke. Thank you, Brooke. Much appreciate you. As always, the unofficial third member of the show. But we're going to have to get away from that. You're going to see both of us back on the show together again. So get excited. We're going to be streaming together again. The main show, the extra episode, all of that good stuff. It's going to be brilliant to be back again together. So, with that, on my last main show solo episode, I'm going to be talking about and reviewing Blood Red Sky, which is a newer Netflix action horror movie that's just come out. Again, it's just being in our lockdown. I can't get out to the cinemas. I can't see the movies I want to see. I wanted to see Old. Couldn't do that. Hopefully, the Suicide Squad coming out this week. Or next, this week, sorry. There's hopefully a VOD of some sort that we can watch at home. I'll pay $30, I don't care. But I did it for Black Widow. I'll very happily do it for the Suicide Squad. From what I've heard, great stuff. But we'll see what happens anyway. So today I'm going to talk about Blood Red Sky. So, Blood Red Sky, released 2021. The synopsis: when a group of terrorists hijacks an overnight transatlantic flight, a mysteriously ill woman must unleash a monstrous secret to protect her young son. Now, this was directed by Peter Thorwarth, who's done absolutely nothing that I can find. This is a German plus English movie, so it's a lot of German crew, then a bit of English crew. So it was more overseas, European wise, than anything over here. This is a runtime of 121 minutes. It didn't feel too long. I was pretty happy with the runtime. I'll go more into it about it, but it didn't seem long. Budget of 17.7 million. It's decent enough for what they have in it. And it was distributed by Netflix. Obviously, they acquired the rights and just released it out there. Part of their game plan to try and release a new movie every week in 2021. Rotten Tomato score, 84% for the critics, and we've given it 59% for the audience. So critics were a little bit more on this than the audience were. Maybe I was the same. We'll see what we're thinking. Starring, we've got Carl Anton Koch, Perry Baumeister, Case Setti, Graham McTavish from the Hobbit series, if you know, Dominic Purcell, Prison Break himself, and Alexander Scheer, among many other actors of many different races and cultures that made this movie. Now, this movie, Blood Red Sky, it was okay. It was different to what I was expecting. I never heard of it before going into this. My mum actually said, "Have you seen this movie yet? I want to watch it." No, I said no. Saw that it was new and went, you know what, that'll fit this week. I'll give it a sus. I didn't see the trailer. I didn't hear any reviews, nothing like that. I went completely blind into this movie here. And from what I could take from the title and the quick rundown, I was expecting a pretty intense horror movie of sorts. Was this that? No, it wasn't. This movie does depict vampires in a way, like monstrous type ones. So, yeah, it had the recipe to be a horror movie of sorts. But it didn't deliver on that spectrum. Going off the whole plot, this is all this is just a terrorist hijacking of a plane, and this woman is just a vampire, and obviously to try and stop them, succumbs to herself, and she's trying to keep herself from becoming a vamp again. Basically, the way this movie sets up is she's trying to get from Germany to New York to visit a doctor to try and fix herself, which we're given to believe she might have some condition of some sort. But you're pretty well led on to think, well, if you go off the title and the screenshots you've seen, she's a vampire. Yeah, you get raised some questions instantly, like, well, how do doctors not know that she's like there's something that wrong with her in the first place? But basically, she's more or less trying to protect her son and try to beat this curse or whatever you want to call it, and make sure he has a more stable and better life to move on with. So the horror aspect is basically nil. There's no jump scares. There's no reason to jump out of your seat in fear. The design is... Her design is pretty... it's pretty bland, I guess. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing you haven't really seen before. She's just a pale, bold, pointed ears, some fangs, and some contacts in the eyes. Is all it is. It's a simple formula for a monstrous vamp. Later through the movie, once other people get infected, they got a bit of a better look to them. Definitely more evil looking, more zombie looking, which was more refreshing. But yeah, her overall look was just a bit, how you going? We'll just throw it in there and see what happens. But that sort of ties into why I don't feel this movie is that much of a horror movie. And they say it's an action horror. There's a little bit of action. It's not much. It's a lot more of a talking movie. But in the same sense, that's why I find it weird that the runtime being just about 2 hours, and it didn't feel it. And I didn't feel like I was missing anything. I didn't feel like there should have been something else there. But in the same sense, it was just a story that was like, it's just happening. And I'm not invested in it because it's like a one-setting scenario throughout the whole thing. And, but it's still not a terrible movie. It's an okay movie. It's not a bad movie. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, don't go watch this movie. I'd say, hey, if you want to give it a shot, give it a shot. It's not... I didn't feel like I wasted my time with it. But I definitely didn't feel like I got my money's worth, I guess. Definitely something that wouldn't have done well in the cinemas, I wouldn't imagine. Definitely had a streaming service vibe to it, as most of them do now. And yeah, there's not much else to really say bad about it. I mean, I've got a couple notes, if I dive more into the story, obviously when someone's a vampire in a movie, you got to get a backstory behind it. You get brief flashbacks into how she got turned, but outside of that, it's pretty null and void, and it's a bit confusing when you think, okay, you get bit by a vampire. 99% of the time in other movies, you're just going to turn, you're a vampire, fucking deal with it. For her, it's like it seemed to be a bit of a slow process, and she didn't completely turn into a monstrous being and go on a fucking rampage. She just kind of somehow learned to control herself and get certain medication to help her fight this. When realistically, everyone else that gets turned in this movie is just straight instant. There you go. They're a vamp. They're eating cunts. That's what it probably should be. But for her, it's just like the backstory is not there. It's not driven, and maybe some people might like that because it's not full in the terms of a backstory, and you go, oh, here we go, an origin story for this shit. That's just what we needed. Okay, fair enough. You didn't throw much of an origin story in there, but you did little bits here and there. But it still just doesn't seem right. It just seems flawed in that way. And it's the same sort of like with why the plane is being hijacked in the first place. You got a group of guys that the movie sets up at the start to say the stock markets are crashing for airline travel, and basically they're trying to take down this flight to crash the stock market, basically, and generate billions of dollars from whatever happens. It's not that well explained unless you sort of understand the stock market in any sort of capacity, which me, it's fucking none. If I invested $5, it'd be gone. It'd be gone within seconds, and then that's just, I would not know what to do with that. But yeah, you've got a whole group of guys that seem to be like, their whole thing is just trying to set up a situation where it's like there's actual terrorists on this plane that are taking it down, and they're just get in, get out, and then they'll just reap the rewards after it. I guess it's a strange one. It's really strange. It's the same sense of why she's going to New York in the first place, to see this doctor. Tying into before I said about the backstory, and it just seems weird that she can control herself and not completely turn into a vamp like after day dot. How does she get in contact with a doctor of sorts? Is she just lying to say I have some sort of blood disease, and here's a doctor's note that I've handwritten to say yeah, do whatever we're gonna do in New York, which is not fully given to you as to why. It's just there as a driving reason as to why they're going from point A to point B. Because you sort of look at that and go, okay, well, if she gets there, isn't she going to just jump in there and the doctor's going to be like, the fuck is this? Why is your body all fucking weird? Surely, like, in terms of a vampire can't just disappear and just not appear on any sort of, like, doctor's radar and shit. It'd just be weird. And basically, it comes down to her kid. And the real message of this movie is the power of love to your children. Seems to be the reason why she can control herself so much. Up until the very end, where apparently it's now too much and she's full vamp. But the kid is the kid is basically the MacGuffin of the movie to help his mum stay sane and help this plane and get rid of the hijackers and whatnot else. It's ultimately his movie by the end of it. It's just a movie for the kid. It's just the power of love, like always. And the ending of the movie was cool. It had a really cool explosion. It had lots of shit that you go, okay, end it there. No worries. Away you go. Didn't leave itself open for sequel bait. Not that I could pick up from it, at least myself. But there were some cool effects in the movie as well, though. That's like when I say, like, it's an action movie, but it doesn't seem as much of an action movie. A few people get shot. There's a bit of blood. The vamps, they get eaten. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Cool use of the blood and effects there. Obviously nothing major. It's very dark lit. And that's where most of the action is more dark lit than anything else. But yeah, a lot of talking in this movie. A lot of shit that either people are going to love or going to hate, or just like and go, yeah, okay, sure, I'll have that, whatever. But I don't. It's just not what I was expecting. I wanted more of a horror movie. When you think of vamps on a transatlantic flight, you think, fuck, this is a recipe for something really fucking, like, really into it. And it's just not. It's just more of just like a drama thriller, I guess. It's hard to categorize this movie into something that isn't action and horror. It just doesn't seem like that either. But, that's what we got. That's how they wanted to give it to us. The critics seem to like it more than the audience actually did, and I don't blame them, really. but it's not a bad movie. It's not bad. It's just okay. That's all I can say to give it a rating of some sort. It's just okay. But yeah, that's Blood Red Sky. There's not much really else to talk about it. You know, you can go and watch it. You got Netflix and you got some time and you feel like maybe it might be for you. Give it a watch. You might enjoy it more than anyone else did. It had its moments. It definitely had its moments. All right, let me round out this episode and quickly tackle some questions that y'all sent to me to try and get me through. So let me go through and start off with Brooke. Things you are looking forward to now that Jack lives with you. Just the podcast is now full throttle. The show is going to be incredible now. Bring a different dynamic. Just having another friend around. Obviously in lockdown it's so fucking hard to see people. So having the reason now that they live with me, so they have to be here, is great to know that now there's someone else around to just talk to, watch a movie with, talk more about the show and that. It's just great times. Great times is all it's going to be ahead for us. Your favorite merch or band memorabilia? Ooh. Favorite merch would have to be my Gravemind jacket that I've been wearing in a couple episodes recently. It is just gorgeous. The design is gorgeous and it feels amazing. Memorabilia-wise, my Hellion skateboard is fucking mint. That'd probably be it. Yeah, the Hellion skateboard would be my top dog. Or draw a flower with your right foot better. Fucking probably neither. Jeez. I'd probably just have a better chance of just writing my name. I feel like it's just easier than having to put together a whole fucking flower. Maybe we'll do that on a live stream. We'll see what I'm better at. What's your second favorite sauce apart from barbecue? Barbecue's my main go-to. Everyone knows that. Second is going to be. If we talk about just sauce to get from the shops, it's going to be a sweet chili. But like just a sauce in general, sweet and sour from anywhere. They're all bomb. They're all different from all your fast foods, but they're all the bomb. Are you excited to see Jack's dick randomly now he lives with us? I plan to see this dick very soon. It's gonna happen. He's gonna walk out one day. It's just gonna be hanging there, and I'm just gonna look up from the stairs, and bang, there it is. Or he's gonna walk out the shower, and the towel's gonna fall. I'm gonna be like, oh, there it is. I'm gonna see that dick. Would you rather not have to shit or sleep ever again? Probably not have to shit ever again. Just because they can just come on in the most inconvenient places, and it just doesn't. It's just not always fun to do. When you're at home, yeah, okay, sure. But if you're out and about, there's not always a toilet on hand that you can get to very quickly. So yeah, I'm happy to keep on sleeping in it and just take the shits away. I'm all for it. Would you rather have a bald face for a year or not come at all for a year? I just won't come at all for a year. If any of y'all have seen me without any hair on my face, I'm sorry. It ain't good. And I ain't getting rid of it. It's staying. The cum will stay in me for a year. That's just what's going to happen. Alyssa, if you were a cat for a week, would you eat at the table or on the floor? I'll just eat on the floor. Why not? I'm a cat. Fuck it. Whatever happens, happens. Well, wherever my food is put is where I will eat it. If I get any food at all. And if I don't, you'll better believe I'm going to be pushing shit off the table. We all know them cats, just a little bit of a... Gone. Off the table. How much are you going to miss solo sessions? Fucking none. Zero. Nada. Will not miss it one bit. I hate it so much. I fucking hate it. I've said it every episode. I hate it. I can't do it. It's not good. It sucks. Never. Not happy. Very happy it's over. Until the next lockdown. Thanks, Sydney. Jess, if you proposed to someone in public and they wanted to say no, Would you prefer that they immediately decline or say yes in public and then tell you in private that they didn't want to marry you? Just say no straight away. Don't get my fucking hopes up like that. I'm gonna get so caught up in the motions of you've said yes, and then like 10 minutes later you go, hey, nah, just didn't want to embarrass you in front of all those people. I'm gonna feel even fucking worse because you've told me yes, and now you're telling me fucking no. Nah, I'll take the public shame and just go, well, that's fucked, and then continue. Sucks, but hey, it happens though. It happens. Tracy, if you had to take a shower with your bestie, would you prefer them to wash you and themselves, or would you prefer to do the washing of both of you? Whoa. Well, I mean, if I don't have to wash any part of me, I'll just let them do all the work. Yeah, just let them wash me. That'll be fine. They can just wash me. And we don't have to talk about it any further than that, other than they can wash me. Alright, that's the show. That's done. I've got that out the way. This is my last solo one. I was rushing to get this done because I do not care anymore about these solo episodes. Because now that Jack's here, I'm just excited to just do a full episode with him again. So, in saying that, that's this show done. That is the last main show solo episode done and in the books. You're going to get one more solo extra episode with Jack for next week for Nocturnal Animals, I believe. Then, you are going to get a live stream episode for our first episode back on the couch. That'll be the main show for next week. So whether we get to see Suicide Squad and just do that live, we'll talk about it as the week goes through and we discuss what the plans are going to be. But the plan is to live stream that first episode back together on the couch, back here. So there probably won't be a live stream before then, because obviously we'll just get this all set up in the room, back in the studio, and have it all set to be together and get that streamed out. And then after that, it's smooth sailing. It's back to the good old fucking days. Hopefully we can get back to seeing movies. I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna make it work. There's nothing too bad coming through this month of August that's gonna fuck us like completely, unless Suicide Squad is ruled out for us. But we'll make something work. We'll always bring something for you guys to talk about. So, guys, make sure you do like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff for the channel. It really helps us out on YouTube. If you want to chuck us a follow on Spotify, iTunes, please do that as well so you get notified as soon as these episodes go live. And just, if you got a friend that knows or just likes movies in general and they like a bit of comedy, just say, hey, I know these guys that do a great podcast. It's funny. It's cool. It's good for your lockdown sessions. Tell them about us, and that's all it takes. One person, and there's a new fan. And we are eternally appreciative of you for doing that. If you want any merch as well, you like that podcast.store. Get yourself some shirts, some hoodies, whatever you want to get. It does ship from the US, so there is a long wait time for it. We don't have any control in that. It's just shipped direct from manufacturer to you guys. So we get nothing from it. It just goes right to you guys, and you all look good wearing it. And that's it. Until I see you guys with Jack on the next one for live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/YouLikeThatPodcast. You've been joined with me. My name is Adam, and I am one half You Like That Podcast. And guys, I will see you all very, very soon.